Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Flood. The Thunder Bay Police Service investigated the circumstances surrounding a shooting incident that occurred Saturday evening on the city's south side. The police were dispatched to the 400 block of May Street South just after 8:20 p.m. on Saturday following a reported weapons incident. Police learned the incident was a shooting and one male victim from the Niagara region was injured. The victim was transported to the Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Center for evaluation and treatment, and his injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. No arrests have been made at this time as the investigation remains open. And with their season coming to a close, the Lakehead Transportation Museum Society was pleasantly surprised with the amount of success they saw throughout the year. Mitchell Ringos reports.
With the pandemic putting stress on a variety of businesses, President for the Lakehead Transportation Museum Society, Charlie Brown, had his concerns to start the season, especially as they opened up 2 months late on June 21st due to the pandemic. Brown says those concerns flew out the window with a surprising amount of activity.
About 3 weeks later, we ended up opening up in about mid-July, and since then, things have just been progressing really well. August and September were exceptional. We were running off our feet those actual 2 months.
The Lakehead Transportation Museum Society also expanded their footprint on the waterfront with the new addition of 2 restored Brill trolley buses that were manufactured at the Canadian Car and Foundry in the early 1950s and are currently owned by the Buddies of the Brill Buses organization. Brown says they are putting a number of proposals together so they can go back to City Council and give them options in the new year about acquiring a new vessel.
My understanding is the Waterfront Development Committee is going to be starting up again relatively soon, and we'd like to make a presentation to them as soon as they start up as well, because they're the ones really we should be talking to as we develop this area forward.
Brown says next year he would love to open up to the public 7 days a week, but that all depends on COVID, funding, and staffing numbers. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Good news for the city's bottom line as Thunder Bay officials are predicting expenses will ring in $5.6 million under budget this year. City Council will discuss the third quarter budget variance report on Monday evening. Administration anticipates 2021 COVID-19 costs will be $1.7 million less than previously anticipated. As well, councillors will also hear about transit ridership during the pandemic. Transit Services says it could take years for rider numbers to rebound to pre-COVID levels and is making the case for on-demand service along some routes, requiring riders to book ahead of time. Finally, Council will get a report on internal city initiatives on gender and sexual diversity in response to a deputation from the Rainbow Collective. And a smartphone app designed to prevent drug overdoses in Thunder Bay got some attention this past week. Lifeguard app founder Jeff Hardy visited the city to see just how his life-saving technology is being used. Danielle Bain reports.
The Lifeguard app was designed for one reason: to save as many lives as possible from overdoses. Drug users can download the free app, which then notifies emergency services when a user is unconscious from an overdose. The issue hits close to home for CEO Jeff Hardy, who struggled with alcohol addiction in the past and lost his friend Evan to an overdose.
This epidemic and pandemic of the opioid crisis, it's not ending. I know COVID's starting to come to an end, and that's great, but this one is not. So, the further we can expand and get the word out and get acknowledgement out, as far as wide as we can go, we'll be there.
Debbie Reed lost her son Johnny to an overdose in 2020 and is a big advocate for the app. She believes her son would have benefited from the technology if he was still alive.
I can tell you I would have been very grateful had there been an app like this when my son was alive and in an active addiction. It would have given me, I think, at least a little bit of comfort.
Paramedics in Thunder Bay have responded to over 15 reports of overdoses in just 5 days this week. For Norwest CEO Juanita Lawson, the app could help fill gaps in services available in the city.
Reality is we need to focus on mental health every day. And I think, every day it is about creating space for people to say, hey, I'm struggling, but also for every one of us to reach out to people to say, how are you doing? And to really mean it.
Hardy hopes to see well-known individuals promoting the app or just acknowledging their issues, and used NHL goaltender Carey Price's recent mental health struggles as an example.
awareness from people at that level and politicians showing that anybody is susceptible to this crisis and these mental health challenges. Those are the types of things that have to happen to show that the stigma is, hey, anybody's open for this to affect them.
Hardy says the app has been used about 600 times by 285 people in northwestern Ontario since the launch in the spring. That's a higher uptake than seen in BC, which Hardy says is an encouraging sign for the future. Danielle Bain, TBT News.
The Children's Aid Society hosted an orientation session this past week for families and individuals to learn more about the opportunities available as an alternative care provider, formerly known as foster families. The demand for alternative care workers has been growing throughout the pandemic. C.A.S. Director of Children and Residential Services, Dana Leeder, says orientations like this are so important for people to know just what the process is like and what exactly they're looking for.
We're always looking for resource alternative care homes to help provide and work with us in providing care for children. We're really looking at focusing on diversity and trying to look for culturally matched homes for our youth. Identity is a critical factor in the wellness and success of children, and so that is one of the focuses of this recruitment strategy.
The Children's Aid Society also launched a social media campaign as part of their recruitment strategy and are encouraging people to get in contact with their agency if they are interested in improving the lives of young people. And residents of Terrace Bay will be unable to skate this year following an equipment failure at the town arena. The decision was made during this past week's council meeting, spurring a lot of discussion and varying opinions on how to proceed. Adam Riley has the details.
Aging infrastructure is the cause of issues at the Terrace Bay Arena this season. In his report to Council Monday, Treasurer Dan Mulligan says a replacement of all 3 brine pumps was needed. But now mechanical issues have stymied the ability to install arena ice this year altogether.
So during the startup of the ice plant, the 16 horsepower arena pump seized. This is the only pump that has the capacity to install the arena ice. Due to the age of the pump, replacement parts are obsolete.
Further compounding the issues is the fact that the concrete pad upon which all 3 pumps sit has begun to crack and crumble.
I don't know if any of you guys went and had a look, but Lara brought me and showed me that the base is bad. To the point that I can't believe we were jamming screwdrivers underneath it to stop the vibration.
It's those factors that led to Mulligan recommending to Council that the arena ice be cancelled for the 2021 season and that curling ice be the only ice installed this year. A recommendation that didn't sit well with some members of Council.
Minor hockey numbers are increasing around here. There are people that use the ice beside minor hockey, figure skating, public skating, stuff like that. And I think the arena is part of the community. And you get rid of that ice. When we don't put ice in this year, I think the minor hockey numbers will suffer. People just lose interest.
Council also had the option of finding a replacement pump to install the arena ice. However, it was estimated that plan could take up to 8 to 10 weeks, and due to the state of the concrete pad, the vibrations would damage the replacement pump. Eventually, Council voted 3-2 in favor of only operating the curling rink. However, Mayor Jody Davis says they are going to look for a temporary solution for the arena, one he believes is feasible.
Can we isolate the pumps totally from the brine system so we can do work on that pump? Because some people in the mill, we have, we're a small town with a lot of people working in the mill, we have a lot of tradesmen in the mill, feel that there might be some older pumps in the mill that may be able to rehabilitate our failed pump and maybe get us going again.
Barring that, Davis says he has spoken with officials from nearby Schreiber who are willing to provide extra ice time in their arena for Terrace Bay residents. Adam Riley, TBT News.
The Thunder Bay Police Services Board announced its new strategic plan this week after months of extensive community and employee consultation, with the goal to be among Canada's safest and best protected cities by the year 2030. Since late May, over 1,200 residents of Thunder Bay and Oliver Papoonge have provided the police services with input on their strategic plan that will be in effect from 2021 to 2023. The feedback highlighted 5 areas of priority, including crime and safety, people, community, innovation, and trust. Stephanie Ash, the lead strategist behind the plan, says it's been beneficial to look at the approach of outside police forces when tackling similar issues here locally.
We looked at what other jurisdictions are doing to address and tackle some of the similar types of crime that our community is facing, as well as the social challenges that are emerging and that we're tackling now. And they're not unique, of course, to Thunder Bay. They're actually trends that are occurring in many cities and communities.
The strategic plan includes several goals, including a healthy and supported workforce, sustainable community policing, restored reputation and relationships, and build for transformation. And the Northwestern Ontario Prospectors Association had to present its annual awards virtually for the second year in a row. The Discovery of the Year award went to TYKO Palladium 1 Mining. The company's Smoke Lake property is located about 25 kilometers north of Hemlo. In November 2020, drilling on the property began and showed a potential high-grade deposit there. The Prospectors Association also announced Mark O'Brien as the winner of the Distinguished Service Award. And there were 4 winners chosen to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award: mineral explorer Tom Lewis, mining professional Ron Stewart, geologist Phil Walford, and geologist Gary White were all recognized for their long list of achievements in Northwestern Ontario. Joined now with Kurt Black. Kurt, some exciting hockey action this weekend courtesy of the Thunderwolves.
Yeah, you wouldn't have known it, Alex, that they had been away from the game for almost 2 years, because the Thunderwolves, they had quite the successful weekend. We'll have the highlights right after the break.